and welcome to this episode of Service Mission Mindset. I'm your co-host, Elder Dennert.
With me, the other co-host, Elder Wilkerson.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Sister Douglas. Sister Douglas, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Sister Douglas. I've been serving for about 8 months now, and I am the STL in my district, which is Sister Training Leader. I basically get to take care of all the sisters. And my general job in the mission is chaos mongering, which I'm very good at.
We mean that in only the best of ways.
Yes, and
Yes.
we do have evidence as well. Fun fact.
No, not the evidence.
I am about to expose you.
No.
Just kidding. But when we invited Sister Douglas to join this podcast, she sent me a message that said, and I quote, "This seems like a very potent ratio of 3 very unhinged people in a very small area." So I guess that's just a little bit of a foreshadowing for you all.
I still stand by that. I think it's really funny that the 2 most unhinged elders in my district decided to make a podcast together. I just find this humorous.
I don't understand the title of Unhinged. Don't know where we got that. What about you?
I think it's debatable who the most unhinged person is, but
It's
Shots fired.
it's us 3. It's us 3 are the most unhinged people in the district.
Anyway, we're going to move on from that, and we're going to dive into our topic today. So, yeah, go ahead and introduce it.
Well, today we're going to talk about the different assignments service missionaries serve at. Service missionaries do not go proselyting unless it's with other teaching missionaries. And in the meantime, what they do to serve the Lord is they go to different service assignments or venues, which can either be worked at from home or in the community they live in. So we're just going to talk about some of those assignments that we 3 have served at.
Yeah, and it's really cool because we get to pick which assignments we do, and we also get to build our own schedule. Our SMAs, or Service Mission Advisors, give us this big list of options, and we just pick whatever catches our attention, whatever we would be good at.
Yep, and we are actually encouraged to have about 30 to 40 service hours per week. Some of us cannot actually do that, like myself. I have health issues and am not physically able to do that, but that is the encouragement if you can.
Yes, and some, I will also say, get a lot more than that every week.
Yeah,
It's-
I have a friend
quite
who gets like
impressive.
50 a week.
Yeah,
I don't think he's okay, but it's okay.
right. I think I got 57 the other week, so that was
Wow.
good. But
We had 2 elders in our own district who in 4 days put in at least 60 hours harvesting
Yeah.
potatoes, so that was really impressive.
yeah, mad impressive. Lots of hard work going into the mission service.
I can only do like 25 hours, but it's okay. The Lord loves effort.
Yep, the Lord loves effort. But
As our
yes,
former President Russell M. Nelson said, who has now passed on.
Yes. And as Elder Wilkerson said, we're going to dive in and talk about a little bit of those service opportunities, the venues, some of the things that we do. And so the first one we're going to talk about is the Bishop's Storehouse, which Sister Douglas and I both have the opportunity to serve there. And so, Sister Douglas, why don't you go ahead and give us a little rundown of what we do there?
So the Bishop's Storehouse is a place where they have a lot of food and stuff and like basic necessities for people who maybe need a little bit of assistance getting groceries for that week because of circumstances that have happened in their lives. And what we do at the Bishop's Storehouse is we make sure that like the shelves are stocked, and we also fill orders for people who have need of the Bishop's Storehouse, and we just help out there all the time. Like sometimes we'll be doing produce in the back, and sometimes we'll be like breaking down boxes and stuff, and whatever they need help with there.
Yeah, and the Bishop's Storehouse is super, super cool. Because like Sister Douglas said, it helps those in need that can't necessarily afford groceries that week. And so the process for that is pretty simple. Anyone can talk to their bishop and share their struggles, and if their bishop approves, then they put in an order for the Bishop's Storehouse. We put together the order, and it's completely free for them.
Me when the bishop approves my struggles. I love
We've all
when that
been
happens.
we've all been there.
I love free food. It's one of the joys of life.
For real.
So the next assignment we're going to talk about is the Family Search Center. And Sister Douglas, would you like to talk about that a little bit? Along with indexing family history.
Yeah, sure. The Family History Center is one that I've done quite a lot. Um, for me, usually I show up and I'm doing stuff. I'm just like indexing and putting records together and finding people, and like I've gotten to be quite good at it. And I also have a skill set that is quite conducive to this because my dad is a medical professional and has horrendous handwriting. Love him though. I mean that affectionately. He does not have very legible handwriting. And I also can read cursive, which product of homeschooling. Woo, homeschooling. And so I'm just really good at reading all kinds of handwriting, and so I'll be going through these old records and I can decipher like most of the things. I think the only thing that I've tried to decipher that I completely failed at was German cursive, which would not recommend. So I go through records and stuff, and I also the Family History Center is really nice because they have a whole lot of equipment for scanning in like old records, like cassette tapes and old video and all sorts of things. Like I had a big batch of stuff from my aunt and just scanned in a bunch of like books and pictures and stuff from her mom, and that's been really cool to do.
Very cool.
Yes, thank you for sharing your experience with that. The next thing on our list is a humanitarian center, and I don't have any experience with that, but Elder Wilkerson and Sister Douglas both do. So why don't you share your experiences?
Well, the Humanitarian Center is a place where people of all ages can come, and there's a lot of different activities you can do there, like tying quilt, crocheting, making jump ropes, coloring pages. What's the one
We
thing?
also they make like little wooden toys and they put together like sanitary hygiene kits for uh people in need often in the community, and they ship it out to like I know that a lot of the jump ropes go to like schools in our area. I believe the quilts go to like the police station and other areas in the community that they're in need of quilts just for things. And I believe the coloring stuff, I don't know where that goes actually, but to children in need somewhere in the world, I guess. I know that a lot of the hygiene kits they've sent out to Ryrie and other areas. The Humanitarian Center is a pretty cool place to work.
Yeah, in other words, there's just a lot of humanitarian work you can do there.
Yep.
I think one of the advantages of being a service missionary, and this isn't to put teaching missions down or anything, there's different ways that they interact with their
Mhm.
other missionaries that's really meaningful.
Yeah.
We get a lot of time to interact with other service missionaries in different environments, and the camaraderie that you build through that, especially at places like the Humanitarian Center, where you're all engaged in serving others. It's really different
Yeah.
from some experiences I had growing up with other people my age, where you're just kind of having fun, but you're not doing anything super meaningful. So it's really good to get that interaction with other human beings.
Yeah, for us, often a lot of the service missionaries in the area that don't go to a lot of our other assignments will show up at the Humanitarian Center. So it is a great place. Like, I've been just connecting with people for a project that I'm working on, putting together a musical group, and it's really cool to, like, just find all of the missionaries, like, from as far away as Blackfoot all the way up to like Rigby, and occasionally even missionaries from Rexburg come down to the Humanitarian Center, and you just find all sorts of people there. It's really cool.
Yep, I totally agree.
Yeah, the next thing on our list is BYU Pathway, and I'm actually the only one here that participates in that. But I love working with the BYU Pathway program. BYU Pathway provides education for people all around the world that otherwise may not have much access to a higher education or a great education at all. And I am currently working in the English Connect 3 class online with students from Nigeria. And so I'm helping them practice their English skills and encouraging them, sending them updates, helping them with any questions, um, all sorts of things with that. And so I have Zoom meetings with all of them and meet with them throughout the week.
Well, the next thing we'd like to talk about is seminary. All three of us here have done that. I'll just say on my part really quick, I knew a lot of the people who I then or at the seminary I served at, because I'm just a year. Well, when I started my mission, I was like 2 years removed from being in high school, so I knew a lot of the people there. I think one of the advantages of that assignment for me was both seeing how to uh, teach the gospel to people my age to get them interested in it,
Mm-hmm.
and also the spirit that's there that you can bring into the classroom uh, with, in a spiritual environment from kids who are just coming from schoolwork and everything. It's just a really unique opportunity, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that is a great point. It is a great opportunity. And for anyone who does not know, seminary is a 4 year program for high schoolers that they can learn about the gospel, basically, and study the scriptures. Um, so they rotate. So 1 year they'll study the Book of Mormon, another year the Doctrine and Covenants, per Luke Price, another the Old Testament, and another the New Testament. And so it's a great opportunity for those in high school to dive into the scriptures, and we get to help giving devotionals and things like that to bring the Spirit, as Elder Wilkerson said.
Yep. My seminary experience has been really awesome too, because when I first started my mission, I had to give up going to Institute in Rigby, which Institute in Rigby is one of the biggest reasons that I'm here as a service missionary right now. That's a story for another time though. But I had to give that up when I started my mission, and that was really hard for me because that's one of my favorite places ever. And I the first day that I walked into the seminary building, I just felt like, oh, this is just like Institute. And it was a huge blessing to me. I served with Brother Coons and Brother Atkins, and they're both really fabulous teachers, and it was a joy to watch them all the time. One thing that would be fun to do, though, that I never got the chance to do is like, I want to bring my guitar in and play a musical number for the kids, which if I ever go back, I definitely will be doing that.
Yeah, that would definitely be a cool experience.
Yes.
Service missions allow you a lot of flexibility in how creative you'll be at your different assignments, which is really cool.
Yep.
Yep. The next thing on our list is teaching, going on splits with other teaching missionaries. And I'm the only one that's currently doing that out of the three of us. So I have the opportunity for about 9 hours a week to go out with the Spanish-speaking elders in Firth and sometimes, or Ryrie mostly, and sometimes Firth as well. And we teach a bunch of lessons to those who are learning about the gospel in Spanish. And I love that opportunity because, as I mentioned in the previous episode, I started my mission speaking Spanish in Argentina, and so it's a great opportunity for me to bear my testimony as well as keep up my Spanish skills.
Well, that leads us into the next thing, which combines both teaching and service missionaries in like really cool ways, which is the temple. I say it combines both teaching and service missionaries because the point of teaching missionaries is they go and gather Israel on this side of the veil. Well, to be a patron at the temple or a worker there is to gather Israel on the other side of the veil.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a great connecting point between service and teaching missions. I have both cleaned the temple and served there as a worker, both in the baptistry and the other ordinances of the temple. And really quickly about temple cleaning. It's so unique to do that because it shows you the ins and outs of how the temple works. And specifically, we're cleaning the Idaho Falls temple. And there's a phrase in the Book of Mormon that several prophets use, and they say something along the lines of the very points of the doctrine of Christ. Well, when you go and clean the temple, you see like the guts and organs of the temple, basically just the electric rooms where, everything, you see how everything works in there. And it's just a testimony to me that if you want to build your own temple, which is, your body and your own life, you do it through incorporating as many different functions as you can that are, part of truth. You don't just focus on one thing in your life. And I think a temple is a great, living symbol of that.
Yeah, I've served in temple cleaning as well, and it has been a big testimony builder to me because we when we do temple cleaning, we literally go over almost every single inch in the entire temple. And when you're down, like, cleaning stuff so detailed and so precisely, you really get a lot more appreciation for all of the work that goes into it. And the temple is like exceedingly fine workmanship. Oh goodness. And it's just so neat to see like all of the love that goes into every single inch of the temple, like all of the super small details that you just never notice when you're just working there as like an ordnance worker or serving as a patron.
Yeah, that's a really cool experience. I haven't yet had any experience in cleaning the temple, but I do work in the temple as a temple worker, and I help with the ordinances that are done there. And I must say, it is the most spiritual opportunity that I have on my mission to serve. It is the one assignment that brings me the most peace and joy. And in fact, I would like to share with you all a quick quote that I found actually when I first met with the temple president to be interviewed to see if I could become a temple worker. And he shared this quote with me, and it's from the beloved prophet, President Russell M. Nelson, in his April 2024 General Conference address, which is titled Rejoice in the Gift of Priesthood Keys. And he says in that, "My dear brothers and sisters, here is my promise. Nothing will help you more to hold fast to the iron rod than worshiping in the temple as regularly as your circumstances permit. Nothing will protect you more as you encounter the world's mists of darkness. Nothing will bolster your testimony of the Lord Jesus Christ and his atonement or help you understand God's magnificent plan more. Nothing will soothe your spirit more during times of pain. Nothing will open the heavens more. Nothing." And I can really testify that this is so true. Within my short experiences working in the temple thus far, I have come to greater appreciate and have a greater knowledge of my Savior Jesus Christ and his atonement and all that he does for me every single day. And I can also attest to the spiritual healing that comes from being in the temple and worshiping and serving there. I transitioned from Argentina to a service mission largely due to some mental health struggles that I was having. And I can really say that I have found so much peace and healing during my service in the temple. And so I highly recommend it for anyone who has thought about teaching in the temple or serving in the temple.
Well said. Well, another assignment is the Bonneville County Library, which I'll turn the time over to Sister Douglas if you want to say anything about that.
The Bonneville County Library was one that I served at briefly near the start of my mission. We were mostly just putting books on shelves, and then when we ran out of books, I was like, "Hey, what do you need me to do?" And they're like, "Well, you can go read the shelves." And that one was a little bit difficult for me because I have ADHD and I'm just going over all of the shelves and like trying to put the books, find any books that were out of order and put them back in order, and I'm just kind of dying, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's definitely something that could be hard for people with ADHD for sure.
Yeah. And like all assignments are difficult for different people for different reasons, and it's totally okay. And hard assignments are part of the mission.
Right, for sure. The Bonneville County Library is something that I get to do sometimes as well, and I also do that, just putting books away on the shelves, sorting them. But I also have the opportunity to go in the back and cover the books, which is basically when you go to a library and you notice that all of the covers of all the books have this extra layer of plastic to keep it protected when they're rented out. Basically, I help put those on the books.
Yeah, in my experience serving there, I think it's great to go out into the community of where you live and smile at people, which is a small but simple and powerful thing you can do. I have seen several people I worked with there be like, "Oh, look at this person who's smiling. Isn't this revolutionary?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." So I really enjoy doing that. I would also like to say it's really cool to see other members of the church out in the community. I worked with somebody on that ordinance shift, or on the ordinance shift I worked with, there was somebody who served at that library who I didn't know they served there, but that was really cool to get to talk with them. And that was just a testimony to me that you can be cooped up in your own home and you can miss how many good people there are out in the community who share the same values and beliefs as you.
Even who don't, though. It's cool to interact with different people and they're like, oh, what are you doing? And you just get to tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes,
Yeah.
which was the other half of serving there for me too. The people who didn't know what a missionary is even.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, another assignment we've served at is Happyville Farm, which me and Sister Douglas have served at. The thing I really like about Happyville is, well, I guess I should explain it first. It's this locally owned farm, so it's not a big thing. And there's only, as far as I'm aware, one lady who's in charge of everything there, although she has helpers throughout the week. You go there and you can do anything from weeding to planting plants to making, different stuff, farm work.
Yep.
And
Whatever she needs that day.
yeah, I think it's really important to learn agricultural skills, and presidents of the church have taught that as well. So that is what I really like about that assignment.
Yeah, I love Claudia is the lady in charge, and she is always happy to explain anything about plants. And just, I love learning things so much, and just her teaching has been super awesome. My favorite my favorite assignments are the temple and then Happyville, which the temple is closed this week, so I'm working at Happyville quite a few days this week instead of my temple assignments. It's just really awesome to me because you're like in the ground and in the dirt and just doing stuff in the earth, and you get to learn all sorts of things and work with the plants and get sun and stuff. It's just been a really fun experience for me.
Yes, and the Museum of Idaho is the next one on our list, and I'm currently serving there as part of my service, and I absolutely love it because, for one, it's fascinating. I mean, it's a museum, right? But typically, when people ask what I do there, I'll just respond by saying, "Oh yeah, I do some people watching," which is super true, but it's also wonderful because I have the chance to answer people's questions, help them out, make sure people aren't getting into trouble, things of that nature. But also, there are opportunities to lead tours and help with the security there and clean all of the exhibits and basically just anything that they need there at the time as well. Sometimes we measure the temperature and the humidity in the exhibits to make sure everything's up to standard. We just help out wherever is needed there.
And the last assignment that we'll talk about that we've served at is the soup kitchen. I served there. I don't serve there right now, but when I served there, basically, if you don't know what a soup kitchen is, it's where people who are homeless in the community, and maybe other people as well, can come to the soup kitchen, which is a public building, and get a free lunch, which is prepared by people who sacrifice their time and money and energy to go and prepare the food there and then serve it to the people there and then clean up afterwards. So the thing that was really neat working there is you actually feel like you're really impacting people's lives who, frankly, are in a poorer state of life than you are, at least physically and financially. And it's really cool to see people's faces and talk with them in person, in real life, and smile at them, and they smile back at you, and feel the humble spirit that's with those people who, even if they don't have that much in terms of worldly possessions, they can appreciate the simple truths of life a lot more than some other people can. And that's my testimony that there's a lot of people in your community who could use help, and there are different ways to help them if you just look really hard at where those assignments might be.
Yes, thank you. And something else I want to point out, we just went over some assignments that we personally, the three of us, are a part of, but there are so many more service missionaries in our mission. About half of our mission is service missionaries and half is teaching missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many options for the service missionaries, and service missionaries around the community are doing so much to help. And so we'd like to just briefly go over some of the other options for service that there are within our mission, at least within our area, our city.
Well, Deseret Industries, or DI, which most people know about. There's also Global Services, which, do you know anything about that? I don't really know anything.
Yeah, basically, Global Services is a program that the church has as basically the computer help program. And so bishops, stake presidents, people like that, when they're trying to do their work, if they have problems with the computer, they can call Global Services, and Global Services will help troubleshoot the computer and find the solutions in the church's programs. But that one does require a 1 year commitment and at least 21 hours per week. I don't know anyone that's personally doing it, but I know that that is an option for missionaries.
I had a friend who did that.
Oh, awesome.
You know something's good when Sister Douglas's friend did it.
Bro, I'm friends with everyone. I'm not sure that's a great idea.
That is true. If you ever need to get to know someone, ask Sister Douglas.
Yes.
That is true, actually.
There's also Sellers Creek Trek, which, again, I don't know the most about. Do any of you know that much about it?
It's just this little trek place that they have up. It's out by Bone, Idaho, and they take all the youth out on trek. And I think the service missionaries up there, they help like manage the trails and also repair hand carts as needed. I don't know.
Yeah, in
much
short,
about it.
yeah, in short, Trek is just like a recreation of the pioneer experience.
Yep.
There is the LDS Church Steak Farms, where you help with potatoes and a ton of other things, of course. There is the Snake River Historical Homestead site, where we live, which, again, I don't really know that much about it. Do any of you know?
I don't know a lot about that one either.
Yeah.
But
So we'll just skip that. There's Champ's Heart.
Champ's Heart is amazing. Sister Douglas and I both have experience with Champ's Heart.
Yeah.
Although not as part of our missions. It's something that we both volunteered doing before our missions at one point. And I love that because basically what it is it's a place that gives both children with disabilities as well as veterans and people of that nature that don't often find a lot of joy in their lives. It gives them a place to go and have that joy. They work with horses a lot, and so we'll help those people ride horses and find joy in doing that, and it's really incredible.
Yeah, there was one kid I saw there when I was working a little bit before the mission that he could not sleep at all unless he was like in this little cart being pulled around by this miniature horse, and it was like, oh buddy, like I have a lot of empathy for him just because that must be really hard, but like so his mom would take him and like they just pull him around the track for a while in this little cart with the little miniature horse so that he could get some sleep.
Yeah. And their smiles are huge.
Yes.
I must say, when the children see the horses and get to ride the horses, it really brightens their day, and it's
Yes.
it's something really incredible to be a part of.
It's so incredible.
Yeah.
Another assignment that service missionaries do is the community food basket. They also serve at, or in our area, Habitat for Humanity, which I don't think any of us know that much about. There's the aquarium that we can serve at. There is downtown development. There is the Idaho Falls Rescue Mission. Do any of you know that much about that?
No, I
No.
don't know that much about that one.
I know this is great podcasting. We're sorry. There is the Youth Ranch Thrift Store we can serve at. There's the Youth Arts Center we can serve at. There's the zoo we can serve at. There's Just Serve, which is a church website that we can serve.
Yeah, the Just Serve is really cool, and anyone can be a part of it.
Yeah.
Basically, they post on Just Serve any service opportunities that are needed in the community, and anyone can go check the website, find ways that they can get involved, and volunteer.
We also serve at the Ronald McDonald Room. There is Salvation Army we can serve at. Snake River Animal Shelter we can serve at, which, like it says, just has to do with animals. I know that was the most obvious thing ever. I'm sorry. And there's this place called The Haven. I don't really know what that is. So that is just a quick summary, though, at least in the Idaho Falls mission, of different assignments that service missionaries can serve at.
Yeah, we just basically, there's a lot more than that, and we basically just try and help however we can in the community and just do whatever needs to be done. It's a great experience.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for today's episode. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us with those, and we'll read them. Of course, we had one really funny comment on the first episode. I don't think it's super appropriate to read, not because it's inappropriate, but just because it might take away the spirit. Anyways, we love your comments, and we'll see you in the next episode.